welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, Dustin and I go back to our best bang for your buck bourbon, period.
In America.
The Elijah Craig, barrel proof. This time, the A122. Dustin comes in at a lower 60.4% ABV, but that doesn't mean it's low.
60% is not a low proof.
Nope, 120.8. Elijah Craig, barrel proof. Again, Dustin, as you know, I've collected many vintages of this. Again, best bang for your buck bourbon, in my opinion. And just aside from that, a good whiskey that I like drinking.
Yeah.
I actually watched another whiskey YouTuber just put a review on one of these out, and I just watched this video when you said you were going to bring it up. That's how much I enjoy this whiskey. I guess is for a hardcore single malt Scotch guy to find a bourbon for what, $70 that you can get on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you are, where you're at, and how lucky you are, these can sit on shelves, or they can be difficult to get. These have become difficult to get for me, Mike. But
they have.
It's weird. I did not see the C batch last year, so I didn't get one, which I'm told was the best batch. So figures I didn't see it. I know those came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago in Kentucky. This one came out like a week and a half after it. Made no sense.
Yeah, here in Columbus, they don't last very long, but I have a few people looking out for me. Yeah. As you know, and they have complete free reign to pick up 1, 2, or however many they can pick up for me, and I give them an open check. Just tell me what they are and send me a receipt. All right, so Dustin, nice dark whiskey, 12 years old, I believe still, right?
Still 12. They haven't.
Still 12 years old like it's always been.
I wish they were more bold about it, but hey.
They put it here on the side. I'd put it a little more front and center, but I tell you what, barrel proof.
It's like they're waiting to one day take it away from us.
Don't pay attention to this. Barrel proof. That's what we need you to talk about.
Yeah.
All right. Some of these things are hit and miss. They're like Lagavulin 12 or like a lot of whiskeys that we like. They change from year to year, so they're batch specific.
They're very batch specific. It's been my recent experience that the A tends to be on the fruity and floral side. A little bit more astringent, a little more biting. The B tends to be a very balanced bourbon that sometimes comes off very not Elijah Craig barrel proof, although there have been a few hitters. And then the C is more your dark, chocolate, bigger, richer Elijah Craig barrel proof. That tends to be my profile. Mm-hmm. You've liked some A's, but you like some A's that kind of drank like a C. So
yeah, so I agree. The A's and the C's have been my favorite throughout the last few years as well. But, you know, I tend to like all of them to some degree or another. All right, so this one coming off initially, nice chocolate, big oak, spice, a little bit of cinnamon.
I'm getting intense medicinal cherry and oak.
You say cherry?
Cherry, medicinal cherry. This is giving me a little bit of concern that it's going to be a little youthful on the palate.
There's almost like a, I don't know if you would call it more a cigarette or more burnt cigar type of ashy note to it.
I mean, there's some tobacco here for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably burnt cigar. Lit cigar may be a better way to put that.
Yeah, I'm getting some like light, like almost white cinnamon baking spice, kind of like it's a baked, like a pastry with a little bit of cinnamon in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of baking spices here. You know, it makes it far more approachable with a little bit lower of an ABV.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Not that I don't like the 67, 68% ones, but
it grabs the nostril hairs a little bit.
I mean, it hides some complex notes.
Yeah, you find yourself like nosing it from over here. You're like, one you can just put right in there.
Don't you ever give me normal Elijah Craig. I will not drink that at all. All right. Am I missing something on the nose?
We're probably missing a few notes here, Mike. I mean, it's fairly complex. I think when we add water, it'll uncoil a little bit, and we'll probably get a few more notes.
Chocolate, spice, cinnamon. I get what we were saying with the cherry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very classic. This is more classic to me, Heaven Hill, than Elijah Craig barrel proof. It's starting to get into some of those classic Heaven Hill oak notes that I get. Not quite getting in the nuttiness that you get there, but you could convince me there's a little bit of peanut with that chocolate.
Aggressive on the palate still for 60%. You wouldn't be shocked with that. Immediately on the swallow, you get the chocolate stinging hot chocolate for sure. There is a very noticeable wood oak note on this too. Very noticeable. And that note kind of transitions into vanilla. So you kind of get vanilla and chocolate kind of bouncing back and forth. But that oak note is very woody and strong. Muscat at the end kind of sachets into a little bit some sweeter notes and things like that. But I mean, again, pretty standard Elijah Craig barrel proof in my opinion. A little sweeter than some of the, a little more oaky, a little sweeter than some of the other ones. But it also has a little bit stronger of a chocolate note to it.
To me, there's a little bit extra, almost like an artificial sweetener kind of note going on here. The oak definitely comes off on the more youthful side. So instead of like oak you'd find in like an antique store, this is more you went to a brand new, IKEA type store, and it's a nice piece at IKEA, but it is oak, but they just cut it,
Okay.
A little more of that. That cherry is still coming through here, which is actually kind of giving me a little bit of a Buffalo Trace twinge hint. I gotta say, I mean, every time I go back to this whiskey, it seems to have changed a lot. It's definitely a whiskey that takes time. The neck pour on this, Mike, I thought it was terrible.
Really?
I was ready to oh my God, no one buy this, it's terrible. Then I went back 2 days later, had it again, and said, oh, okay, I jumped the gun a little bit. It's pretty solid. It's still good old Elijah Craig. And today it's even better than last time. But, it's not great. And I think you said chocolate. Mm-hmm. It does have some milk chocolate in it, but my favorite Elijah Craigs have a heavy-handed dark chocolate note, and this one is not.
I agree. It's a milk chocolate. It's a lighter chocolate. It almost feels like a cask that didn't have these casks didn't have as maybe as strong of an influence as the other ones, other than say the oak note.
Yeah, I almost get like a McDonald's McFlurry without even with the M&Ms. Like it's not really ice cream, but it's kind of ice cream going on there.
It's funny as far as fast food restaurants. When you said the IKEA store earlier about the wood note, I was like, it's not that. It's like the old Wendy's tables that had the newspapers underneath them, acrylic over that plywood or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of gives me a little bit of that note.
Yeah, I mean it's almost more of a plywood than a really nice, rich, antiqued oak. Nicely finished.
Maybe just like a hint of some type of adhesive too, like a glue or adhesive type note in it too.
It's just missing on the oak. Again, this comes off. If this is 12 years, maybe some of those other Elijah Craigs we really enjoyed. Maybe they had some 14 or 15-year-old bourbon to round them out, add a little more oomph.
All right, what are you picking up with some water?
Yeah, so a lot of the same. Mm-hmm. I think, honestly, a little more approachable on the palate. Otherwise, you've got to add a lot of water to this thing. Nose, nothing's changed substantially. Palate, nothing's changed substantially. Still really nice, good bourbon.
Yeah, I mean, tone it down a little bit with water, as you expect with something that strong.
It's missing some of that. This is just coming up a little short of the best.
Yeah, some of the better ones. I mean, I'll say this. Water tuned down that oak note that I really wasn't overly happy with, which is a good thing. Maybe slightly sweeter.
Not for me.
More oak?
I get that sort of, I won't say aspartame, but artificial sweetness and oak right at the front of the tongue with water.
Okay.
It's gone up even more. It's less on the finish and more up front. It's like it's sweet, overly sweet tannins.
Yeah, at first I didn't really think tannins were coming up with some water. They're definitely there. There's definitely this wasn't their best cask ever, to age this particular whiskey. I mean, it looks dark like the rest of them do, and there's some similarities, but a little off.
Their goal is every batch to be different, and I can't say I've had another one like this one, and I can't say I dislike it. It's just
slightly lesser.
Not what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Where as far as whiskey score on this one?
Mike, between an 87 and 88, I think I'm going to go 87.
Well, I'm going 85.
Okay, wow.
This is one of my lesser Elijah Craig's, in my opinion. Not to say that the newer ones aren't as good. I had a C a year or so ago. It was as good as any Elijah Craig ever. What was it, 919 or something like that?
Yeah, that thing was amazing.
So it's not that these are hit or miss. This just for me, bit of a miss for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
I'm actually, you have me taking 86 a little bit here. I'm going to stick 87, but 88 I was thinking too high. It's 86, 87.
Here's the thing. I'll actually still buy one of these and put it in my collection for $70 or whatever, even though it's an 85 whiskey. Just because I one day, because I have multiples of some, I'm going to open up and kind of see them through the years, and I'll kind of narrow them down. Like, what's a sweet one? What's a woody one? What's an oaky one? I mean, because again, I've had some of these that were just bourbon magic to me.
Yeah. Well, I used to try to get two of every one of these releases. So I could open one, drink it, and then get another. And it's become harder and harder to get them.
Mm-hmm. They won't let you buy 2 when you're there a lot of times, or max at 2.
They never let me buy 2.
Sometimes they'll let you buy 2.
I've never been lucky enough to
2
find
transactions. Got to be more malleable.
Yeah.
$20 here, something out there. I'm just saying. Goes a long way. Not saying I did it. I'm saying I heard it was effective.
Let me just put it this way. If I could find them in Ohio, that's a game plan you can get to. Unfortunately, I don't buy whiskey in Ohio.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, Ohio's pissed me off enough where I don't want to buy it. I don't want my money spent here.
We got to be creative here.
Yeah.
All right, so Dustin, I'm an 85. You're at a 87.
Stay at 87. Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we're at as far as this Elijah Craig. Great bourbon. We will continue to bring them.
Yeah.
No doubt about that at all. So let us know what you guys think if you had a chance to try this particular one. And Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you next time.